You think you've seen this build before, haven't you? Well, let me tell you no, you most likely haven't. Because the best build in Diablo 4 is now playable with dogshit gear. Yes, that's correct. Lurkin has created the best Season 5 and 6 sorcerer build and made it so that anyone can play it. It's the splintering energy build, but with a twist. So let's talk about it and get you gaming. And in case you think I'm full of shit, this is what the build is capable of. The hardest difficulty pit in Season 6, done in 3 minutes. Tier 140 pit in Season 5, we speed run that shit.
Wow.
And hordes? Well, shit. How about gaining up to 1,000 ether without using a single uber unique?
Wow.
Fuck yes, my man or woman. And in this video, we'll cover both the insane Season 5 version and the changes coming in Season 6, so you can just keep blasting over the seasons. But first, how is this possible? The main reason that it is that we're not only relying on the splintering energy aspect to deal damage, which is necessary in all other splintering builds, but rather we also incorporate frozen orb damage. Okay, and what does this mean, Mr. Perragaming Big Dick Senpai? Well, shit. It means that we can throw that triple masterwork GA cooldown reduction shako in the trash. And if you're a German streamer that plays the game 10 hours a day, then of course feel free to keep it because it's the best in slot item. But if you're not, then we're just spamming frozen ball sacks onto our enemies until lightning spear is up, and we have a buttload of damage during the downtime. It's just that easy, folks. Okay, Mr. Perragaming, that all sounds dandy and all, but I'm a dogshit newbie, and I don't even understand how the regular splintering build work. Can you explain? Yikes, dude, all right. So except having frozen ball sacks that in themselves deal a buttload of damage in this build, splintering energy is the name of the game. This is just massively overtuned, which mainly has to do with that it is uncapped. By throwing out lightning spears and then stacking critical strike damage, the damage skyrockets to the fucking moon. It's one of the few builds still in the game that scales its damage via an uncapped passive, so we're exploiting it to the fullest. This also yet another reason as to why the regular lightning spear build is so hard to gear for. Not only do you want a triple masterworked shako, but the more crit damage you accumulate, the more damage you get. And that shit's hard for the newbies, and also scaling frozen ball sacks just makes life way easier. Alright, so that's a bit of the basics. To fully understand the build though, let's talk a look at some gear and aspects. Mr. Awesome Gamer Lurkin has made a lot of different versions for us. During Season 5 though, we'll focus on the end game version here, which does not use any ubers, and this version which is optimized for ubers and hordes. We'll then have a separate planner for Season 6. More on that later. For skills, we're utilizing frozen ball sacks for big hecking dam, along with shooting out lightning spears out of your bumhole due to the fractured winterglass amulet, spawning conjuration skills as we're casting frozen ball sacks. For ultimate, we're rocking unstable currents. This grants us attack speed, but it's also able to spawn more conjurations. Not only does this allow for more lightning spears, but the more conjurations you have, the more damage, movement speed, and mana regen you will have from the Conjuration Mastery passive. We then have Lightning Spear. We use this for the splintering aspect, obviously. Ice Armor is lovely as it allows for a fuck ton of damage via the Storm Swells aspect, and it also generates a massive amount of defensives. Teleport is pretty much a must in every build as to not be slow as fuck, and Ice Blades is used for both more conjurations and to reset our cooldowns via the skill tree talents. You're also allowed to ditch it for Flame Shield if you prefer, and grab an additional point into Greater Frozen Orb to keep enemies vulnerable instead. For enchantments, we're rocking Frozen Ball Sacks for more Frozen Ball Sacks, and Firebolt as to apply Burning, which we'll utilize in the skill tree. Alright, Mr. Perra, Gaming hurry up will you with some gear and aspects. My massive hemorrhoids won't allow me to sit here for too long. That's disgusting, but fine. Let's do it. First off, your 3 brain cells needs protecting, so let's grab a helmet. Here you'll use Shaco if you have it, and Masterwork cooldown reduction. If you don't have it, then the concentration aspect along with mana regen is just massive, not unlike something else if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, your beer belly fatty. Tempering warmth is also just lovely, allowing us to gain a massive amount of self-healing. For titty protection, we're rocking the snow-veiled aspect. This is an important aspect, allowing us to keep permanent unstoppable. You'll need it for both the Uber and non-Uber versions, but you'll rock Tyraels in the Uber setup. For gloves, this is where we imprint the splintering energy aspect. Rocking the Fist of Fate gloves is a DPS loss in this build, as we simply want the additional frozen orb damage and aspect, so don't use that. As Pantaloonies, Tybalt's Will is the way to go. These are just massive for damage and mana regen, as you can simply teleport or use Ice Barrier to gain mana back. In this version, we also have mana per second, and then you gain a buttload of mana via Conjuration Mastery. All in all, you should not run out of mana. In the Uber version, you also have Starless Skies, and you can skip some mana regen due to this. For sneakers, the ESUs are just too fucking good, man. You're gaining so much movement speed via Conjuration Mastery that this passive is maxed out permanently for an additional 40% crit chance. Just lovely. As weapons, we're using the Frozen Orbit aspect, as it both boosts our Frozen Orb damage and we gain more Lightning Spears, as they spawn the more explosions you have. The Storm Swell is also granting us substantial damage. What you're then prioritizing is getting Frozen Orb casts twice up to 100%, as to get that shit capped with ease, and then we'll check out the jewelry. The Fractured Winterglass is mandatory for this build to work, and you'll prio the Conjuration Mastery ranks. This amulet simply carries the entire build, along with all Lightning Spear builds. So let's just say it's pretty damn important, as Conjuration cooldowns are reduced from Frozen Orb explosions. You now see how we gain more conjurations via the Frozen Orbit aspect. For the rings, the Talrusha is just too hecking good, man, and the Shredding Blades is bonkers as well. If you happen to have Starless Skies, though, then Shredding Blades is what you replace. Oh shit, I forgot what time it is. It's already skill tree a fucking clock, and you know it, baby. Let's check it out. Starting us off, Firebolt is going to be our enchantment. What we're after then are the Frozen Ballsacks, along with Enhanced Frozen Ballsack for a humongous damage boost. After that, we go for Elemental Dominance and fuck off from here. Shimmering Teleport is just lovely for massive damage reduction. Class Cannon is a must, as we're no better cuck soy boys, and we go for Ice Armor as to not hecking Dial Mao. In the Conjuration skills, we grab everything available, pretty much. Enhanced Summoned Ice Blades is used for the cooldown reduction. Lightning Spear is what deals damage. And Conjuration Mastery is one of our main sources of damage scaling, as we'll be able to pump out over 20 conjurations at once. We then grab a few defensives and head on over to pick up Devouring Blaze. Yummers. In the ultimates, we have all of these damage passives. Now this is important, so listen up, damn it. If you run out of mana, just grab some points into Frigid Breeze. It should solve that shit with ease. So if you ask me how you can gain more mana without picking points in here first, then I'll shove a massive cucumber down your throat as punishment. We also have Unstable Currents for more conjurations along with attack speed. And finally, the Veer's Mastery. A lovely passive for some additional damage via our Lightning Spears and Splintering Energy. And also, considering all Sorcerer key passive suckballs, we don't have much of a choice. Well, damn son. Skill tree complete. Let's check out the Perragons, shall we? Lurkin makes some damn good Perragons, and if you check out his previous builds, then you may have seen some of his Perragons in other build guides. Because, well, it's easier than to create your own, I guess, LOL. Either way, we start off with Winter for Big Dam and boost the nearby intelligence nodes. Because we're smart. We then go for the Enchantment Master board and Socket Elementalist real good for 15% Big Dam. Next up is Frigid Fate, which we cap via non-physical nodes and Socket Unleash for massive damage and regen. It's then time for Burning Instinct, where we Socket Tactician for, more Big Dam. We also have 20% damage reduction here, which is basically an aspect. Lovely. It's then time for Icefall to boost our Frozen Orb damage and grab the Exploit Glyph for, this is getting repetitive. We have Destruction for the same reason, and also try to grab as much crit damage here as possibly for the Splintering aspect, and finish off with the Flame Feeder Glyph in the Ceaseless Conduit board, along with Conjurer as to keep our conjurations up longer in the Elemental Summoner board. All in all, 8 glyphs for 8 gazillion big fucking dam. And just in time, as it's now finally time to get hecking good, my friend. The build is easy peasy to play and incredibly fun. Every skill on your bar is used on cooldown, and when your lightning spears are on cooldown, you're spamming Frozen Orb. Yes, it's actually that easy. If you're rocking Flame Shield instead of Ice Blades, then you can hold onto it, as to not hecking die. But the build is mainly all about bashing your head as hard as possible against the keyboard, and shit solves itself out pretty much. You do have a bit of ramping up to do, though. And what do I mean by that? Well, the more conjurations you have out, the more mana and damage you get. So it's a bit slow to start the fight, but gets progressively stronger. And if you're rocking the T-Bolt's Will, then remember that you can gain your mana back after teleporting or using Ice Barrier. Other than that, though, just try to hit as many enemies at the same time as possible and have some goddamn fun. Okay, that was easy. And what's going to happen in Season 6? A fuck bunch of buffs, pretty much. Let's work our way through it. For starters, we of course have the rune words. Petrify and Warcry is the name of the game for every build in the game, so there's that. And we now have the Air of Perdition and Shroud of False Death that we can utilize. Both of these items are humongous damage buffs to this build and will be used for pushing. On top of that, though, we're getting some lovely skill tree changes. Our new skill Familiar will be used, as it's going to gain us an additional 10% damage. We're also getting the Elemental Synergies passive for more damage and a lovely new key passive, Enlightenment. This will boost our damage, attack speed, and mana regen. And as I previously said, most key passives are dogshit, so this one is a welcome change. As we're rotating between spamming lightning skills and frost, this one will be up pretty much permanently, no problemo. When it comes to the Perragons, pretty much everything is changing. Lurkin has made a draft here, but I'm expecting a few changes and different variations as the whole Paragon system is getting reworked in Season 6. And as it currently stands, we will be capped to 5 boards, and each glyph is getting additional bonuses. Hopefully, the Perragons will change slightly, though, because in my opinion, this whole system is quite dogshit as it currently stands. We'll have to wait and see if Blizz gets that thumb out of their ass. It's quite far up currently. Either way, thank you for watching, my friends. Check out Lurkin, he's my go-to sorcerer guy. And drop a sub here as well, or else I'll